to my YouTube channel. Welcome back again. This is me, Jemienaftaly, on the pediatric world. This is the channel on kids' welfare, medical problems, and we also try finding solutions. We want to talk to mothers, we want to talk to everybody, including everybody into management of these common illnesses that children get while growing up. We want to use a layman language so that everybody is able to understand. So I welcome you to today's episode, and we are continuing on the best methods, best use of medications in children, which we call rational use of medications. And if we use them wrongly, we are saying that the drugs are irrationally used. Please note the difference. So today we are continuing from where we left in our last episode. If you haven't watched the previous one, please do, so that you may continue together and you are not lost. So what are the reasons for developing resistance in medications in children? So the most reason is the injudicious, irrational, and overuse of antibiotics in children. So also there is overuse of something we call third generation drugs. So why we say this is because when the child comes to hospital and we diagnose the illness, so there's normally a first line drug, there's a second generation, there's also a third generation. So when we rush direct into giving the third generation, so now that one definitely we are going to develop resistance. So what are we saying? We should start with the first generation drug. So if this doesn't work, we proceed to the second, and if the second again doesn't work, we proceed to the third. But you do not go to the third generation directly, because this will cost us, and this is resistance. So now when you start with the third generation, where do you go if the third generation drug does not work? I hope you try to understand. So how then do we prevent this resistance? How do we prevent the resistance? We try preventing by designing better pediatric formulation. We minimize drug administration errors. We should be very, very careful, us who are administering, or any professional caregiver who is administering these drugs to these children, so that they should be very keen so that they do not have administration errors. What do I mean? For example, there is a drug called adrenaline. This is used in resuscitation mostly, and the drug is it should be 0.0. It should be 0.01. So if you make a mistake and you calculate with 0.1, so this is what we are calling administration errors. Another one is digoxin, which you should use, for example, 0.04, and this is in milligrams per kg per day. So instead of calculating using the 0.04, you use 0.4. So definitely we get a different figure, and this child dies because you have overloaded them, you have given the wrong dosage, and this is through administration errors. So we should be very, very careful. Another way to prevent resistance, we improve the drug compliance. This is by improving the taste. We improve the smell, and also the dosing frequencies, the color, and also the consistency. And especially in infants. Infants are those small babies, because if you do not have a better taste, if you do not have a better smell, these babies will spit the drug, and it is not going to help them. So we are trying to improve the compliance so that the child can give the right dosage, can get it for the duration that it has been prescribed. So this is by, when we are doing this, improving all these, the taste, the smell, the color, so that the child can be able to swallow the drug and not spit. So this is by improving the drug compliance. We should also educate parents. When you give drugs to that mother, please kindly, or the caretaker, explain to these mothers on about the medication, educate them on how to handle it, how to give. Just take your time and explain to them. This one will save us a lot of mistake. So that was about resistance. So what is the process of the rational prescribing? Remember, the best way, we say the rational use of drug is the best, the right way, and this is by ensuring we are giving the right drug, the right dosage, at the right duration, and should be sufficient, and the patient should get it at the lowest cost possible. That is what we define as rational use. If you haven't, again, I tell you to go back to the previous episode and see. So what is the process of rational prescribing? There are steps. First, there has to be steps in diagnosis, and this is through history taking. Remember, we said we should take our time with the mother to get to the history, deep to the history of these symptoms presented by this baby when the baby is brought to you. Thorough examination, examine so well, impression, that is the diagnosis, and also the differential diagnosis. The differential diagnosis is those illnesses, different illnesses that present with the same symptoms, so they should be into our mind so that we may be able to go around them and think what is really ailing this child. So we define the effective and safe treatment. This is both drugs and non-drugs. We don't only give drugs, there are like advices, and for example dietary advices, for example. So these should be effective and safe. This is the process of rational prescribing. Another thing is that appropriate drug, dosage, and also the duration. This is another way of, we say that process of rational prescribing. Give the appropriate drug at the appropriate dosage and at the right duration. Then a prescription should be well written, a well-written prescription. And what do we mean by a well-written prescription? Which is the best prescription? What should it have? A good prescription. So a good prescription should have the following. It should have the name of the patient, the address. It should have their residence. It should have the date. What date are you seeing? Are you prescribing these drugs to this baby? The age of the patient, it's very, very important. The generic name of the drug you're prescribing should appear there. It should have dosage form, e.g. is it the tablet or is it syrup? What dosages? Duration, we say it should have a signature. You, the prescriber, should sign at the prescription that you are giving, your signature or initials. And then the prescriptions should be clear and legible to the patient. Not writing things that someone is not able to read. I know here, I'll not talk much here, but it should be clear and legible. So this is what a good prescription should contain, all the things that you have said. So then, what are the impacts of irrational prescribing? If we prescribe the drugs wrongly, what are the impacts? What are the results? Number one, there is going to be reduced drug therapy, because leading to increased morbidity and complications. So either way, if you have used the drug wrongly, either if it is an underdose, then there is reduced drug therapy. It will not help this baby, and this will lead to increased morbidity. These children might die. You are giving drugs, and there is no effect because you are giving the underdose. And on the other side, if you are giving overdose, we are saying if it is an overdose, they are toxic and may cause complications and increased incidences of unwanted side effects. So increased incidences of unwanted side effect is if you are giving, like we said previously, giving of antibiotics where it is not necessary. Like we said, most illnesses in children are viral and we do not need antibiotics. So we are giving antibiotic where it's not supposed to be given. Hence, we are increasing the incidences of unwanted side effects. Hope this is clear. Another impact is the waste of resources. Why give drugs where they are not supposed to be given? We are wasting resources. There is also psychological effects. When patients believe that there is a pill for every illnesses, hence they go demanding for the drugs. So this is psychological effects. And the most common one is we have is the drug resistance. You give the drugs, you start with the third generation, like we said, instead of starting with the first, and if it doesn't work, we go to second, third way. So there is a increased resistance when we do not give them the right way. So these are the impacts of irrational prescribing. I thought it was good to say, because this one will save a lot of kids, these small things. So I hope this is clear. We'll still continue from here. I want to stop here so that people can read this and first of all digest. Thank you so much, my people, for keeping tuned. Thank you for listening to me. For those who have subscribed, thank you so much. Thank you for your support. If you haven't, please hit on the subscribe button so that you may be part of this wonderful family by subscribing. Turn on your notifications to be among the first people to see this every time I'm posting a video, and also comment down below so that we may be together. I want to know, please give me the feedbacks on these videos, and again share them widely so that most people, most mothers especially, every caregiver can reach this video. We might help one caregiver. We want to create the awareness, we want to make them aware and have the know-how on what really happens to these children who are growing up. Please share them widely, and this is it. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye bye.